it's Stacy and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be coloring this digital stamp from Julia Speary on Etsy. I'll try to link it down below. This is a grayscale stamp. We're going to be coloring with Copics. We're going to be using a black Prismacolor Premier pencil and Gamsol with a blending stump for coloring. I used a die set for the lacy border. It's actually just an entire panel it cuts out. It's not just a frame. And I think these are from Gina Marie dies. I'm not sure. I bought them in a D-stash from Tina Crafty Bean. Hi Tina, if you're watching. If Tina knows, maybe she can leave it down below if she's watching, but I'm pretty sure it's Gina Marie. And then I'm going to go ahead and color this little darling image up. This image I am creating for The Love of Snowmen. And this is hosted by Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Hi Nancy, if you're watching. I saw this image on Etsy when I was looking for the LOTV digis, and I was actually recommended this image as part of that search. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's so cute. Look, a little snowman. It's got a bunny in it. It's perfect. So I had to get it. I think it was like $1.65 or $1.85. It was less than $2. It is a grayscale image, so it's got a tiny bit of shading naturally in it from the grayscale, and the lines are really light. I printed this up on Copic Express It blending cardstock. If I had to do this over again, though, I would print this out on the Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock. Reason being is I'm going to be using colored pencils, and I wasn't planning on doing that originally. And this paper has no tooth. It is so smooth that colored pencil just wanted to sink into it and settle. So I recommend using the Nina Solar White 80-pound. And all of Nancy's information I'm going to link down below for this open collaboration. All you have to do is use the hashtag for the love of snowmen, and you can share whether it be paper crafting, you could bake snowmen, it could be clay, it could be sewing, it could be anything. It could be, you know, decor. It doesn't matter as long as it's a snowman or snowmen or people. And you just share it with that hashtag on whatever social media platform that you use. It doesn't have to be YouTube. It can be Facebook. It can be Instagram. It can be whatever you use. And just use the hashtag for the love of snowmen. And then I will leave all of Nancy's information down in the description. So with this, I'm going in from my darkest to my lightest, and then I work back. That's usually how I color. This cardstock is so phenomenal at blending these Copics, and I'm sure it works just as well with any other alcohol marker, that I switched it up, I think, a little bit at some point and went from light to dark, because when you go from darkest to lightest, each time you go lighter, those lighter colors can wash out your darkest tone. So then that's why I work back. But I think I might have in a few of these switched it around. And I tried to keep the card pretty neutral as far as colors, except for that pink, which turns out to look more purplish or lavender, especially with the other colors I used, and once we add that color pencil on top. So are you guys participating in For the Love of Snowmen? I know there's a lot of you out there that are, and I love seeing your projects. Please know that I'm watching pretty much everyone I can find. I don't always comment, but I always give a thumbs up. I watch on my TV. I have bad eyes. I have like a lot of us, I'm getting older, I have a bad neck, and I can't sit at my phone, and I can't see it very well, and I can't, even on my laptop, it's still, I need the big TV. Plus I want to see everything, so I'm really enjoying seeing what everybody's making. I've been enjoying participating in this collaboration, and I encourage all of you to. For those of you who maybe are on the fence about sharing, share. This is such a supportive community. Everybody is so sweet, so kind, so supportive. And everybody wants to be inspired. I'm so inspired by all the different things out there. And even when I can't craft, I watch because I enjoy it, because it makes me feel like I'm crafting too. Same with haul videos. I feel like I'm shopping, but you know, I don't have to spend the money. But typically we go do that anyway. So I just started with a little girl image, and I went ahead and colored her up, and then I'm going to move on to the sled and the bunny. Isn't the bunny cute? It's got like these big eyes, and they just have so much character. When I saw this image, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to have it. So I got it. And I'm trying all of these colors that you see me using, I'm just repeating in the card. So those grays are warm grays. They're the same grays I used on her little outfit. And the scarf that's coming up, and in the ear is the same as the blush, but when we get to the scarf, it's going to be the same colors I used in her outfit, and it's going to carry on over to the little snowman. So I like to keep the number of colors, not so much the markers, but like the colors. I like to keep to about 3 with neutrals, like and neutrals I don't count, and then because I feel like it makes a more cohesive design. So I don't have a problem repeating the colors in the other little characters. Some people might feel the need to make them different colored, or you can just take that same blending family and remove one from the end and add a darker, more saturated color in that blending family to the other end. So maybe you remove the lightest and put the next darkest in. That'll give you a little bit of variation too. Also, going back in with colored pencils allows that too. So that you can really change it up, where your Copics just become your base, and then you use colored pencils for shading, but you can also add a little bit of different color in there too. I showed that on my last video. I did the colored pencils for shading, and I used a few different colored pencils depending on what color the image was. So if you're interested in that, that's in my previous video. So what have you guys been up to? Do you have any plans for this week besides work or taking care of the house or family? My son is home from school for a week for President's Week. I remember when I was a kid, we got President's Day. Now they get an entire week, which the kids enjoy. My grandkids are off for the entire week, and my daughter's like, Mom, when I went to school, all I got was President's Day. So, I mean, not even after my time, they only had President's Day. Now they have a whole week, which is kind of nice for the kids, though, to get a break. These houses in the background, I am doing the same colors as her hair. I thought about changing them up a bit, but because her hair has so much texture in it, and I'm going to go back in with that pencil, I decided, just like I said, to keep it cohesive. So they aren't as detailed as her hair or the sled, so I felt that it was okay to carry it on in the back. I almost contemplating making those houses or cabins in the back very desaturated in color, so that it just kind of was a light background, but I think I kind of stepped it up a little bit. In this chow marker that I'm using, it's the same one I used on the sled, so I think it was an E57, but I'm not positive. Can you hear my markers? It was an E37. And it's the same one I used earlier. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and do these little chimneys. And really, those chimneys and some of these images are so small, like even the cabins. And with the grayscale in there, if you don't use a color that's darker than that grayscale or will mute it out, it's still going to show up. You could color with one color and this with the grayscale, and it would still look phenomenal. But I don't know, if you've been in my channel, you know I'm extra. I say it all the time, I'm extra. I can't leave well enough alone. And I really do think all the little stuff that we add to cards takes it from from, you know, from good to better. I think it just gives a step up. But I think the most important part, and I encourage it anytime anybody's here, I encourage on my channel, is just to create. It doesn't matter what your skill level it is. It doesn't matter what you have if you don't have very much. It doesn't matter if you just have a pencil and paper. If you want to create and make a card, I say go for it. And know that you don't have to have all the things in order to create. My craft supply, what I have now, I've taken years to get. It didn't happen overnight, and I can tell you what I had in the beginning and my cards in the beginning, they were completely different than they are now. My interest changed, my knowledge grew, and also my supplies grew, and my skills got better because I just practiced. So I encourage you to create no matter what you have. You don't have to go out and buy anything new. If you have a coloring book, get your coloring book out if you like to color. I take coloring books and even little kid coloring books, and I put them on my printer / copier, and I'll resize them and I'll print them out on cardstock and I'll color those image. You know, if you've got a child or a grandson, or your child has a friend that maybe they like Paw Patrol, you can go buy a Paw Patrol coloring book, print it out on some cardstock, and make a card out of it. You don't have to have a bunch of stamps. You could draw it, you could trace it, however. Just, I encourage you to do you and just create. I have said this before, creating for me is like a form of therapy for me. I put my AirPods in, I kick the music on, and it takes me to a whole different place. It turns off the outside world noise, it turns off the noise in my head, and I get to just focus on something that soothes me. So I say go for it, no matter what you do. If you're a die cutter, if you prefer die cuts, or you like 3D projects, or you enjoy baking, or making jewelry, whatever it is, just do it. Now here in the background, these are bees, and these are very desaturated bees. They're like almost a gray. They almost look purple. That's why I got them. I love purple for snow. I've said it before, and I'll probably use it more and more. I'm blending up, and I started with a lighter blue, and that one wasn't quite dark enough for me. So I went from the bottom, and then I came down from the top, and I was going to do like a Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights type of thing. And I thought, how am I going to work that in and not have the colors metal? So I just decided to take it and go back in with a darker B marker from the bottom up, and then blend it up, and then with flicks, and then also from the top down. And then I realized, oh, that I had forgot the little rails on the sled and the pulley that she has, because they're grayscale, so those little rails look like they were already colored, but they weren't. And then I was doing the smoke on there, and here I have, and I paused that, I freeze framed it so you could see the coloring before I moved on to the pencil. And I'll have a comparison later so you can see the difference and see if this is something that you would want to take the time to do, because this was pretty intensive. Originally I wasn't going to use the black pencil, but because of the grayscale, everything, the lines were so washed out that I decided to go in with that pencil. And I'm really happy I did, because I think that it just stepped it up. It looks so, the depth on it's pretty phenomenal in person, and it's so easy. It's so easy. It just takes a while. But the only thing I'm doing a little bit different with this one compared to some others is I'm really, really going in with a light hand with that black pencil. I mean, there's sometimes it's just a line that I'm spreading out. I'm not putting very much down. I don't think I'm really using any circular motions. I might in a couple of the larger areas, but most of it's just going in with some very fine lines and then blending that out, and then I'll go back over it again. Because the colors are so pale, I didn't want the black shading to be so harsh that it didn't go with the image itself. And I love the depth that it gave to her little outfit, especially because there's some fine lines, like with her leg in that's in the background, and then there's a little bit of a fold with a zipper there. It wasn't really, barely showed up. That pencil allowed me to make definition. And then I just go in with that Gamsol. And I would going in a lot more because of the cardstock I'm using. If I was using the Nita Solar White with this, I wouldn't have to keep going in. This cardstock is so smooth. It's almost like that pencil's absorbing into that paper, which it's probably not, but it's not wanting to move. So I'm dipping in that Gamsol a bit more than I normally would. I put a cotton ball in that little container. It's just an Old Spice container that I cleaned out. And then I pour my Gamsol on that cotton ball. And I did that a couple videos back, and it's been like that for all this time. But because it's not an airtight one, I have to refill it every so often. Plus, I'd have to do that anyway. And look, you guys, look at her hair. I mean, it got so much more definition and texture and detail just from that pencil. I love how that came out. I think that even if I don't go back in with a colored pencil anymore, I think I'm going to try that on hair. And I've done that before, but not to this level. This is probably the happiest I've ever been with any hair that I've done. So give it a try if you haven't. And there is the completed card. Did you see the difference between the Copic colored one that I stuck back in there and then the colored pencil one, the one with the colored pencil? Unfortunately, I lost some of the footage for the cabins and the background, but I did do those as well. And then I cut it out of a lavender colored paper since the pink turned to look lavender after I took the colored pencil to it. And I cut that down to fit inside that frame. I couldn't tell you the exact size. If I knew, I would tell you. If you're doing this and you're using the die, just cut your cardstock down to the side. I just trimmed it off till where it framed it. I didn't trim it off one side only. I trimmed a little bit from each side until I got the image centered where I wanted it. And then I made a card base and just glued it to the very back, but not, I made it smaller like the card panel and glued it so that it wouldn't, the white of the card wouldn't peek through the lacy edge. And then I went in with some Spectrum Noir with those little hearts that I glued on there. Those were just some die cuts from some tags I made a while back. I colored them up to match the pinky purple, and then put the Spectrum Noir, and then put glossy accents, and they look like enamel hearts. And I added some glossy accents to the snowman and the bunny. And look at the depth. The lighting's better there, guys. I changed my background because I realized it was washing everything out. I hope that you enjoyed this process. I hope that it inspires you to get creating. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.